So the old 6.3 is finally standing on its own suspension. Well, barely standing. It's basically lying down. There's a bit of a leak at the rear there. I believe the leveling valve has a slow leak, so it only stays up for about half an hour after the engine is turned off. Front stays up considerably longer, but that's on the to-do list to repair those items. So we're going to give it a start today and see how it's running now that he's been messing around with the fuel injection system. It's running a lot better from my understanding, and it also has a new fuel tank as well. There is no brake, so there's no point pressing the brake pedal. Let's give it a go. Are you sure this thing bloody starts?
It does.
I got scared. I'll try once more. So of course Tim does things back to front. He's almost finished with this car mechanically, but he has no brakes. There's no rear discs at all, because this is a very early one that uses the ventilated rear discs that of course are no longer manufactured, and the part number's completely discontinued. But they were available at the Classic Centre, I assume reproduction, so he's going to try that soon. At the moment he's going to try and move it using their parking brake. So this will be the first time on video that this thing has moved under its own power. Let's see how that goes. And hopefully he doesn't go through the fence. And he is modulating the parking brake there. Fuck, what was that? There is no exhaust on this thing at the moment, that's why it's so damn noisy. Nothing like a bit of performance anxiety mixed in with potentially destroying your project on camera.
And the neighbour's fence.
And of course it's not insured, so it'd be in big trouble. And We don't want him to hit my 124. Where in God's name are you going? At least the parking brake works well. Shame there's no brakes. This thing would be a prime candidate for taking for an illegal drive around the block right now. Coincidentally, if anyone knows how to convert to the later style brakes that use the same discs as the 126, we are interested to hear from you. I think I know what's needed. It's a matter of actually getting the parts. But if there's a cheap way of doing it, let me know. And there's my 124, living dangerously. Holy crap, that parking brake is noisy, but it is not supposed to be used in this manner.
Transmission engages properly, huh? That's good.
That's what happens when you put ATF in it.
That's right.
Back into the backwards reverse. Holy crap. You've got to have some mechanical sympathy for these things. These parking brakes are not supposed to be used for stopping a moving vehicle. They're supposed to stop a car from starting to move when it's parked. But of course, we don't have any disc brakes at the moment.
Let's get out and assess the situation.
I believe the SS Titanic has been docked into its bay now.
Let's go further.
What's the verdict?
Let's go further to the left.
So he has not parked correctly, so we get to have another go. At least the engine is happy nowadays. Just need to get some brakes and take it for a decent drive. I will say that's probably the best working handbrake I've ever seen in an old Benz. They're usually next to bloody useless. I wouldn't dare try this in my 6.9. It barely even stopped it. And that was with new everything. I never did quite get that working perfectly.
Okay. Should be about where it needs to be, I think.
It's looking good.
So I'm going to crash into the wall.
No, that's alright. I wouldn't go much further. Yeah, that's right. Park is on the bottom. What's the engine temperature? Halfway. Perfect.
175 or whatever it is, yeah. 80 degrees.
Perfecto. So as mentioned, this is what the ventilated rear discs look like. They're only used on the very earliest of the 6.3s. It would be ideal to update to the later version because these discs are trashed, you can see. It's thicker on one side than the other because these pads were down to metal, and the moronic previous owner just continued driving it around like that. Who does that to a 6.3, really? I guess it was probably worthless back in the day because he did park it up for more than 20 years. So you can see there's actually a spacer between the two caliper halves, so it can take up the extra width of the ventilated disc. I'd be interested to hear from anyone that knows how to convert to the later solid discs, which are a dime a dozen. Let me know. So here's something interesting. This is not a quartz movement clock. It's actually a mechanical wind-up clock. And it periodically winds itself automatically. It's an interesting brand. I've got one of their decks in my 124, Kienzel.